All right, so listen, it's TGIF. People have been waiting for this topic. Let's jump on into it. Y'all ready?
And let's do it.
All right, now this week on Cocktails with Queens, we kicked off the show and talked about the cultural impact of Issa Rae's hit series Insecure. And former Fox Soul host Mike Hill brought up a good point on social media regarding the topic. Mike posted in a series of tweets about how there have been several shows about positive Black women and their relationships with each other, and asked if there were any successful shows that highlighted educated Black men. Mike also clarified that this is not a discussion about why Black women and not Black men. It's more like, why not both? I thought that was a good point. Do you agree with Mike's point? And why do you think Black men are not getting the same representation when it comes to television shows?
You know, it's funny. I think largely in part that men are not entertaining. I think, you know what I'm saying? When I think about an ensemble situation, I'll never forget Carlos King said one time, I asked him about an ensemble reality TV show about men, like why aren't there any? And he was just like, Q, plainly put, men are boring. You know what I'm saying? So I think that could be part of the reason, trying to come up with the creative. I mean, would people watch an all male living single? Would we?
You're right. Well, I agree.
I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly about this. Of course, they would watch all men. Black women, of course, love looking at beautiful Black men on television. I think it's quite clear that the big media houses have told us that they're not going to invest in Black positivity when it comes to Black men. And that's why there are no shows. Let me tell you, if they start to put money into Black men ensembles, then we will show up and watch it. But media has made billions of dollars watching and creating toxic, negative Black male plight scenarios on television. The prison shows, the crime shows, everything is surrounding the bad Black man, if you ask my opinion. But this is the real question, soulmates. Let me see some thumbs up in the comments. If you saw a positive Black male ensemble, right, of men doing positive things and adding women as they do into the equation, if you would watch or not. I want to see some thumbs up.
We're waiting. I think it's a case of, again, it's what came first, the chicken or the egg. Mm-hmm. You can say that there's an agenda against promoting positive Black men, and that there's some truth to that. But let me tell you something, though, nothing come before money and greed when it comes to these networks. I feel that if they thought there was an audience for it, they damn sure would produce it. Now, every time we complain about there's not enough programs that show us in a positive light, and then someone tries to do it, like look at reality shows. The most ratchet are the ones that stay on. And then we have these beautiful, positive reality shows that show positive friendships. The Empire Girls with Jaleesa and Adrian Balan, the Tia and Tamara show, positive, pro-family. They last for a few minutes, and then people get bored because no one's getting cussed out. Unfortunately, the consumer controls, I think, they're gonna put more money into. Our track record doesn't show that we'll support that.
Listen, if networks put money behind positive Black images, then we will follow. We're consumers for a reason, and we can be trained and taught on what to like and what not to like. We've been trained and taught to like Black dysfunction on television. That's why we moved away from stuff like The Cosby Show and Living Single to reality-based nonsense. It's simple and it's easy. If you put money around chaos and ignorance, then people are going to show up to get the money and create the content.
What was that Kevin Hart show, The Real Hollywood Husbands?
Yes, they're coming back too. They're renamed it.
I didn't watch because I'm not a huge Kevin Hart fan, but how did that do?
I mean,
that's coming back for another season, and people like that show, but it's also a very talented group of writers, and very, you know what I mean? Like their writers are really, really good, and they're funny, and they're not super squeaky clean either.
Well, the writers for Insecure are really, really good. The writers for Living Single are really, really good. Assign great writers and directors and actors to an all-male ensemble of Black men doing great things, and it's going to be really good content. You just got to figure out how to engage the public. in this case, because we're used to seeing things that are not positive and we rah-rah that. We just have to change the narrative a little bit. And there are ways to do that in creating content.
I'm still sick on my point. I think if there was money in it, that they would do it. There's nothing that's going to stop the greed and the love of money.